Again, I'm just using screen record. It gives me the ability to see when it is that they fuck with my camera. Again, it's walking past me, pointing the phone, making sure that she's getting a video of me. I don't mind, you can video me all day long, but I will kind of reciprocate at times. I think it's much harder for them to fuck with the camera when I'm using screen record rather than when I'm using an actual camera. So you see how busy it is. It's just coming up to 5 to 8 in the morning. So just as she got to the crossing, the fake nurse, that's a favourite as well, using uniforms. You know, one of the retards in the house that I lived in, she told me when I got there that she was a professional cleaner. You've never seen such a filthy midden in your fucking life. The communal areas, you know, I dread to think what her room was like, because she was a fucking smelly little tramp. She's still there, apparently, by all accounts. Well, still got a tenancy. It's a weird situation, and I'll tell you about that. But yeah, she told me she was a professional cleaner, which she said it without any fucking irony as well, you know, which is quite funny. And then all of a sudden, these nurses' uniforms started appearing, hung out in the garden, and you know, she went from a professional cleaner overnight to a nurse or some kind of care assistant, one like GP15GWZ. But yeah, you can pick. I mean, they get given the uniforms, you know. They get given the uniforms to wear, so it's part of the plausible deniability thing. It's the same as when you go into town or into shops during the day. Again, this isn't a big metropolis town. This isn't a big up and happening place, and this road that we're walking along now isn't the main road to anywhere. It's a cut through, if you like. So it just cuts out a certain section of the road, but it's not a main road leading to anywhere, you know, it's not a main road leading to any kind of big city or anything. But yeah, this is all for me. Yeah, so you see them during the day, you'll see them in town. If you walk about town or walk about a supermarket, you'll see them, they'll be dressed in, there'll be guys in high vises, you know, as if they're builders or plumbers. They'll have the work belt on sometimes, you know, the costume, they'll have the full costume on, the work belt, the trousers, or there'll be a pretend painter, they'll have all their paint splattered clothing. All their paint splattered clothing, pretending that they work as a painter for a living, but they're always walking about, wandering about town, nothing to do during the day, but obviously their high vis. Their high vis is like their cloak, you know. That shows everyone that they're actually a working person. They're not just an actor, just walking about the streets acting. They're not gang stalkers. They've got a high vis on, you know. But you never actually see any of them doing any work. It's the same with the vans that drive past you. And there'll be signage on them, you know, for whatever they've got their van signed up as. You see them driving around all day long. Plumbers' vans, builders' vans, electricians' vans, you know, whatever the case is, the vans. You always see the vans. You don't ever see them actually doing any work, you know. All they seem to be doing is just driving round and round. Driving round and round all day long. Doing no work, not going anywhere. Just taking part in gang stalking, because that's what they do. So yeah, the people that I live with, there's 6 rooms. Obviously I take up one of them. The other 5, there's a guy who apparently lives there in a room. He occupies a room, so he has tenancy for the room. But I've never seen him in the 10 months that I've lived there, which is strange, isn't it? That you would be paying for a room, or your benefits would be paying for a room, but you would be living elsewhere. That's very odd. I'm curious as to what it is that they keep in that room. But I've never seen him. And then you've got the next room where sillE lives. You know, I told you the road that I used to live in was Ellis Land Road. Well, yeah, sillE, SILLE, lives there. Or is her name the same as the street that I lived in? It's confusing. It gets confusing to me, all these fake names, all these pseudonyms they give these people. So she lives in one of the rooms. And when I started making videos talking about the things that she would say that she would say and do, the things that she's taken part in. She would talk about things from my videos, and then I would repeat them and say them all to you. So when that started happening, she disappeared. But again, this has been a couple of months now that she's not been about, but all her stuff's still in the room. So again, she's paying for a tenancy, or the government, the council, are paying her rent for her, and she's not staying there. You know, she's not staying there. I think it got to, you know, she was too big-mouthed, I think is what the reason is. So she's away gang stalking somewhere else, in another place. She'll have a new name, and she'll be in a new place gang stalking. And then when I leave this place, the two of them, I think the guy who isn't there, the retards have told me his name's Matt, but I don't know whether that's true or not. So Matt and sillE will come back, and they'll have new names for the next person that's placed in that house, the next target that's placed within this house by the letting agent, who is also involved in gang stalking. Yeah, and then you've got the other two. Now the other two, one of the females, she never ever used to leave the house. She would never go outside. So they've got the doing the dog thing, you know, to try and scare you with dogs, to try and make you feel some kind of fear by putting them around you. They do that all the time. They'll come up to me and they'll know that it's vicious, and then they'll kind of come towards me. See what I mean? It's absolutely, it's planned. It's planned. It's absolutely planned. They just didn't know that I was taking a video, but it's planned. It happens all the time. Yeah, so they've got another one. She never left the house. She barely left the house. And as I've started making videos and saying about her, talking about her, and the fact her fake names, you know, or the fake surname that she has, that's an anagram of the first letters of the names of 4 of my cousins. Not all of my cousins, but 4 of my cousins. So she's decided that she's not hanging about very much anymore, so she'll be off gang stalking somewhere else as well. She kind of tried to set the scene before she left, talking about her mental health and how it was really poor, and you know, how she was maybe going to have a little stay in a hospital. Rubbish, absolute fucking nonsense. The fact is that I'm calling them out, and I'm showing you all, I'm telling you all exactly how it is that they're doing this shit, and the way that they're using their fake names and putting these actors around me, these fake people. There's not real people. So she's not been there for a little while. She keeps disappearing. And like I said before, she was a person who, you know, she's young, she's in her early 20s, she never left the house, never. You know, she never went outside. She's just hanging about, you know, keeping an eye on what's happening within the house, because she's a piece of shit gang stalker. And then you've got the other two, you know. But isn't it weird, isn't it strange that when they were making all their noise and they were doing all their nonsense, that I emailed the letting agent and I said, do you have any rooms available elsewhere? And they said, no, we don't. But in this house that I'm living in, that they have me living in, there's 2 empty rooms. The people, and 3, there'll be 3 shortly, because I don't think she'll be spending any much time there. Old Mack, old pretend name Mack. I don't think she'll be spending much time there anymore, because she's been caught. She's been called out. I've called her out on her fake name and her bullshit. It's not her name, is it? None of them are their real names. It's a lot of crap. So they're moving them around. Once you start to figure them out, they have to move them. And they're fucking terrified that I'm going to get one of their faces on camera. And it might have already happened. But the fact is that they're kind of monitoring my phone, so they know what it is that I've got and what I haven't got. But I'll be very interested. There'll be 0 mail for them between now and the time that I leave with their names on it, because they don't want me actually getting their names written down, and then they can tell me that I'm a liar, you know. I've seen mail from them before, but they're going to use that as I'm making up these names, you know. I've just made it to fit in with what it is that I'm trying to say. There's another dog coming. It's probably going to be vicious as well. So yeah, it's interesting. They have no rooms. Have no rooms in any buildings, any other buildings that they have. But this room right here that they have, there's 2 empty rooms in it. Really, that no one's lived there. No one's lived in one of them for 10 months, and the other person hasn't lived there for a few months because she was getting called out by me about her bullshit. So yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting once you start calling them out and figuring out their crap and making videos about it, they get scared. So yeah, that's all. Thought I'd show you, and glad that I caught the vicious dog, because there's lots of vicious dogs, and some of them are on leads and some of them have got 2 legs. Anyway, take care, God bless.